What's going on, everyone? Timothy at Time and Refinement. Today, I want to discuss some issues I have with the manosphere and red pill content in general. See if I can get myself out of the sun there. There we go. So, for the longest time, I consumed red pill content, manosphere, garbage, whatever you want to call it. A lot of these creators I don't inherently have an issue with, but just like anything else, it's an addiction, and it is comprised of pretty much the same thing, give or take minus a couple small subjects here and there. And the main gist is to keep the men hooked, to keep them cynical, to keep them victimized, if that's a word, and to keep them coming back for more and more, because obviously that's how you build a channel. And so, with that being said, a lot of the manosphere content is based around being wary of the opposite sex, being wary of relationships, marriage, being wary of people in general, and being wary of every single girl that you come in contact with, because she can, will, and very possibly ruin your life in every single aspect in regards to finances, emotional well-being, and mental health. And I have no problem with this, again, inherently. I think it's important to be cautious of who you hang out with, who you decide to let your guard down with, who you decide to be invested in romantically. But the main issue I have is it's a blanket sweep and a stereotype for every single girl out there. Now, before I have everybody jump on me and call me a simp and call me this and that, let's try to look at this from the perspective of any other matter. So you go into a job and you punch the clock and you work. And you think that your boss is out to get you the entire time. So you're on pins and needles and your cortisol levels up the entire time. So how long can you keep that up for before you start to self-implode and before you start to self-destruct? And the answer, in my opinion, is not very long. So if you go into a relationship, if you start talking to someone that you truly admire and you like and you want to be with, you want to spend the rest of your life with, I don't understand how that's a healthy aspect to come about, or, a healthy aspect to start at, because you're already on the defensive. You're already ready to leave, to get out, and to possibly cut the relationship off if something comes about that you don't like. And again, the issue with this is, in my opinion, it's always putting you on the defensive, and it's always putting you in this victim mentality of, I don't need this to happen to me, therefore I'm not going to do this. And part of being a man is really being aware of these types of things. Like, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt in business. You're going to get hurt in relationships. You're going to get hurt in friendships. It's just part of being a man. It's part of being a human, but it's, part of being a man. And to stereotype relationships like this is not a good idea. And a lot of these guys have gone through nasty relationships, probably gnarly divorces, you name it. So it's understandable why they come from this aspect. Understandable. But to let that define you as a man is weak-minded, and it's immature, in my opinion. And to say that, well, my girlfriend or my wife needs to do X, Y, Z, therefore I'm not even going to consider providing for her or being there emotionally for her. Because let's face it, starting a relationship off like that is immediately transactional. And as soon as the transaction wears off in any aspect, either one is going to pop out and just be like, well, I can find better elsewhere. And this goes for the ladies too. This goes for the ladies who want a provider man, which is fine. They want someone who makes a lot of money. They want someone who's this and that. But as soon as you categorize your significant other into material things, inherently you're going to have problems down the road. And then you're going to put that person off to the side and you're going to go find something better. Because there is nothing sticking the relationship together other than transactional material things. And so we need to get back to actually, getting into selfless aspects of relationships, because unfortunately the few and far between relationships that I've seen, again, there's not a lot of them because we're very inherently selfish, but the people that do have their relationships together from the outside are very selfless people. They're looking out for their spouse. They're looking out for their partner, for their well-being. They're looking at it from a selfless perspective. And so to kind of gather all this up, I think the manosphere content and the red pill content is damaging to young men because it's making them believe that the only value that they have is what they can provide, how much money they can make, how stoic they can be, and how emotionless they can be around someone that they actually care about and want to build a life together with. Because there's no vulnerability, They don't preach any type of vulnerability, and they also really preach that women are going to screw you over the entire time. And again, it happens. It happens. I've been there. I've done that. But to let that define you as a man is not the greatest idea. And it's also not going to set you up for success as well. It's going to immediately set you up for failure because realistically, you're just going to be on pins and needles the entire time. So, again, I've been through that phase. I've done it. I've listened. I've heard it all. And it also doesn't make you take accountability as a man, right? If something happens, granted, something does happen in the relationship and it's not her fault and it's something that you did, there is no accountability. It's just, well, the woman didn't do X, Y, and Z and you did everything you could as a man. And that's not the responsible way of looking at it. So, yeah, again, I have my qualms with it. I do think there are good aspects, for sure. I really do. I think building a business, staying away from your urges as best you can, and maintaining good habits is a great thing. But that's all baseline stuff. You don't need that from a divorced guy who's been screwed over so many times and proceeds to screw himself over and self-implode his relationships, and that you need to take advice from. Even Andrew Tate, however you feel about him, there's been plenty of times that he's been like, look, I'm just here to bring some morals and some standards to the guys. Now, he didn't make his money the correct way, in my opinion, but there's a reason why he is the face of young men and masculinity these days, So, anyway, I just wanted to shed some of my humble opinions on that. And again, it was damaging to me because I didn't look at other people, not even girls or women, but I didn't look at relationships as something that can be built upon, something that can be molded. It was very much transactional, every type of relationship. Depends on your outlook. Depends on your outlook of life. It depends on what your philosophy is too. So my philosophy is to build relationships, to build character, and to build values so that other people can abide by the same. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. I love you. I cherish you. Thank you for all that watch and tune in, subscribe. Looking forward to sitting back down again. It was an absolutely beautiful Monday, sitting out again in Arizona. And I'll get you guys a video here in the next few days. So in the meantime, be well, be safe, be healthy. Take care of yourself. I love you. Cherish you. See you guys in the next episode. Cheers.